Welcome back to Keeping It Real, and I'm Mr. Riggs. Today's topics will be based on the MTV show True Life, and the episode was I Can't Trust My Partner. But I'm going to mix in with that, trying to give someone help and them not wanting your help, and then a negative or a positive outcome might come, in regard to the help that they have received from you. Um, in the first part, on the MTV show True Life, there was a young couple. They were high school sweethearts, Shawnee and Nikki. Nikki was so in love with Shawnee. Shawnee was the typical jock or male. He had all the girls after him. He had all his homeboys. He stayed at home with his grandmother. He was a student also, but basically he bombed off Nikki. Every time she was paid, he was there with his hand out. She had taken care of him over the years that they were dating. But they both were young, they were still 21. She was a full-time student and also a full-time teacher. She worked at a local high school in their area. And she was basically tired. She was like, every time I turn around, either he's stating he's out with his friends and I don't know if he's cheating, and every time I turn around, I have to give him money. He likes to go to the movies, and he goes out with his friends, and he leaves me at home. And she also was stating sometimes he would go and say he would want to go to dinner, and she would give him money, but then she would call and he would be at home playing, PlayStation or whatever, and then use the money to buy beer or alcohol or things like that. And so she was tired, and he had gone out with this one chick that he had met with another friend of his, and Shawnee was like, "All right, Nikki, I'll be back. We'll go out to the movies or dinner or whatever it was." And she said, "Okay, I'll meet you back at at your place at a certain time." Well, she beats him to his place, and it's 2 hours later. She's calling him. He doesn't pick up the phone. 3 hours later, she's still calling him. He doesn't pick up the phone. But on the other end, as MTV is there, they're filming him. He's at dinner with another chick, and all that Nikki can think of is that, oh my God, he's cheating. I know he's cheating. I just don't have proof that he's cheating. She was just fed up. She was like, I can't do it anymore. He's not returning my calls. So finally, around 2 o'clock in the morning, he finally did, call her back, and then he stated, I'm sorry, that he was headed back to the house. So he gets there. She's almost in tears, asking him, "You've had me wait since this evening. We were supposed to go out to dinner. You don't pick up your phone. It goes straight to voicemail. I'm calling you from the house, your house phone, and also um, my cell phone, and you're not picking up either call." And she was like, "I didn't know what was going on with you. We've been together for so many years. I didn't know what happened, but you always do this every weekend, and every time we're supposed to go out, you always do this." So she was fed up. So she basically told him, "I'm done. I'm through." So she left him. So for 3 weeks they were, separated. They Nikki was like, "I'm done, Shawnee. You know, there's no more. I've tried to have a better life. I'm trying to go to school. I'm taking care of both of us. I want both of us to have a better life. I want to move out, you know, and us have our own life. So Nikki and Shawnee, there was another part. She called him and asked him to go to counseling. Well, maybe we can try our relationship one more time. So he then stated, "Okay, I'll agree, but I don't think counseling will help." So they went to counseling. The counselor basically, had to tell him, "Well, look at it the other way. What if Nikki was always calling and saying, 'Well, I'm on my way in 5 minutes, I'll be there,' and it's 3 hours later? The first thing you're going to say is maybe she was cheating, or she was out doing something that she wasn't supposed to be doing. And if it was a thing that happened over, a certain period of time, then you would probably want to break up with her because you were thinking that she was dating someone else." So he was like, maybe. So the therapist stated again, she said, well, step outside of the box. Pretend to be her. If she didn't call you, if she broke off all of your dates, I'm sorry, if you were sitting at home and she was calling and stating that she was going to be there, she broke off the dates. If she stated that she wanted to, go out to dinner at 3 o'clock p.m. and she didn't come back until 9 p.m. and you're sitting there waiting, no phone calls, she's putting her friends before you, how would you feel? And he said, you know what? I never thought of it that way. I guess it had taken for someone else to open my eyes about the situation. Just by hearing it from her, I just thought it was just nagging, 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 nagging. But actually listening to someone else, then I noticed, yeah, I was doing wrong. And so what happened was the next scene, a month later, they were going to look for an apartment. They found an apartment. They got back together. Everything was fine. I mean, the few people that I watched it with, we were rooting for them because they had gone through so much together. And then they found an apartment, getting ready to pay the deposit. Everything was final. They saved up their money. After a month, they were back together. And then the next scene, the apartment was empty. So the first thing that everyone was thinking was, wow, he's done all of this. He's cheated. He's verbally abused her. He's lied to her. He's used her for her money. And she was just sitting there where the camera was panned to her. She was just sitting there in a chair, just crying. And all of us at the same time was like, well, that was messed up how he just probably upped and left her for that other girl who we saw him with at the beginning of the show. Well, the next thing that was said was on the screen they had typed a month later, right before they were getting ready to move, Shawnee had died. He had died from an ailment that he had in his stomach. He just woke up one morning and Nikki stated that she tried to wake him up and he was complaining of his stomach hurting. But he had been complaining for the last couple months about his stomach hurting and they just blew it off. He had gone to the doctor and the doctors were like, well, we can't find anything. We don't know, what the problem is.